Okay, so I bought this. I was waiting for this book, as I have so many of the other Earth One books. I think I started my collection with the Superman Earth One. So this is a review. This was one of the better ones. So this is Green Lantern Earth One, written by Hardman and Bechko, who also did the second Star Wars Legacy. They were bad. I kind of liked I liked the Kate Skywalker stories a little bit more. If you had to really put me to the fire. So what I'm going to do is I'll talk about this in brief detail, and then I'll tell you when I do spoilers. You'll notice a lighting difference when you get into spoilers. So what is the overall book about? Well, it's not this one. It's not Emerald Dawn. I'll tell you what you're not getting. What you're not getting is it's the human aspects. Carol Ferris is mentioned in name and a little bit, but she's not there really. And a lot of the human characters that Hal Jordan runs into in Emerald Dawn is not in this. It's more like this. The overall story is more like when Superman in the 1980s went to outer space, and kind of like this book. It reminded me of Space Wars. This is like a book about intergalactic space travel. So that's what this book is. He's basically Harold Jordan, as he's called, or if you want to call him Hal for fun. This Hal Jordan is an astronaut doing mining. So his whole life is like No Man's Sky, kind of like just pissing around doing mining operations from asteroid to planetoid to planet, whatever he wants to do. But it's kind of boring. But he doesn't want to go back to Earth. So something happens, and somehow he gets the ring, and he gets to be a Green Lantern. But it's more of an odyssey than anything else. So it's very nice. I noticed the lack of support, whereas in the other Earth One books you have all kinds of critic quotations, but this one came a little late. This is the ninth book after the 3 Superman books, the 2 Batman, the 1 Wonder Woman, the second one coming out this year, and the 2 Teen Titans. This is a really nice addition to all the other books. It's like a movie. You wait a couple of years, you get another book, another book. See, with these Earth One books, you don't have to get like, crossover issues. This is it. They may show up in another Crisis crossover event somewhere as a tongue-in-cheek, or maybe they already have, and I don't know about it. So this is about Hal Jordan's odyssey into outer space, and what do the Guardians mean? And what do the Green Lantern Corps mean? And what does the universe, the balance of the universe, the balance of the galaxy mean? And what is power? What isn't power? So the Hal Jordan we're used to, where his dad was a great pilot and he died, and his friend is in the hospital, and Carol's his girlfriend, and there's his other friend and another friend. That's not in here. That's not this one. He is disconnected from Earth. So his whole thing is about just kind of, doing for himself and just doing that, hard labor. And then the ring comes out of nowhere. And how he finds the ring it's a little bit to how I wrote a fan fiction as to how Hal Jordan found a ring. In my fan fiction, he was a soldier in the Desert Storm fighting Saddam Hussein's soldiers or whatever that, he was green because he was a soldier. Here, in this book, he's an astronaut and not a pilot. So a lot of the original concept is not there. But anyway, so I'm going to go into spoilers. And the art, I'm going to just flip really quick to the art. It's really nice. It's just like Star Wars Legacy, the second edition. And we have a page summary here, which has one significant difference than the overall story, which I'll go into spoilers. But here's a nice picture. This is a really good. Okay, so I'm going to go into spoilers right now. I'll dim the lighting here. Yeah, I'm a little partial to Kate Skywalker's story, but yeah, it's all right. So we have a lantern here, but what I found amazing was that you had, so we're into spoilers now. What I found amazing was the way he finds the ring. You know, this is all about doing this mining operation, and his origin is very similar to John Henry Irons from the original Reign of Superman in 1993. John Henry Irons, when he made a dangerous weapon, and it was supposed to save American lives, save it from terrorists. And all it ended up doing was it was being used to kill people in the streets. So he was creating like the atomic bomb, like Einstein. And here Hal Jordan was contributing to the government and ended up making a dangerous weapon to be used in useless wars. So he ended up doing this. He ended up doing the mining expeditions. And he finds the manhunter. This manhunter, you know, is partially dead, but for the most part, it's just not operational until later on. Finds the lantern. Actually, here, when I wrote a fan fiction about Hal Jordan being in the Middle East, I always figured if Christopher Nolan directed Green Lantern, Abin Sur would already be dead. Like there would be a skeleton, there would be something. You would never see that legendary conversation between Hal Jordan and Abin Sur. They find a dead body and that's it. And actually, his partner Volkov is the one that actually takes the lantern and the ring from Abin Sur. And I thought Volkov was going to be Sinestro for some weird reason, just because he kind of looks like Sinestro, but that's not what happens. So they got into they find here's the thing, they do the mining expedition and they find Abin Sur's corpse and the manhunter in a giant ship, and then the ship collapses, and then they take the evidence. Volkov takes the ring and tries to see if he can get it to work. He goes out the damn spaceship, kind of like 2001: A Space Odyssey. He's gone. And Hal Jordan gets the ring somehow, and then he becomes the Green Lantern just like that. And even he doesn't know what the hell he's doing. The Manhunter is awakening because of that whole thing with the lantern and the ring. So his boss, African American black, however, she's in charge of the whole expedition, and they're supposed to go back to Earth. They see Hal Jordan with this green, what they think is green radiation. They just say, well, you can't, come back because we don't know what your radiation is going to do to us. So, he loses control. Then he gets the ring and he goes back. He says, well, what am I going to do? Float in space. Then we have the Manhunter fight. And then we have, this big old battle. I kind of like the Manhunters more than that crazy yellow monster that was in the Emerald Dawn. But he wakes up, I forgot if it was a spaceship. No, he wakes up on Kilowog's planet. So Kilowog somehow finds him in deep space. I don't even know how that happened. I don't even remember how it happened. But Kilowog finds him in deep space. I think everybody could tell before they turned the page it was Kilowog that was rescuing him. And so they have a little bit of conversation. They talk about what Kilowog thought the Green Lantern Corps was, what the Manhunters were. Don't they look better than the ones in Pacific Rim? You can't see them too well, can you? But they do look better. And they decide to test each other out. Like they learn from each other. They learn about alien cultures and alien planets. And this is Hal Jordan going on that Luke Skywalker kind of thing. Like, here's other planets, here's other things. This is what you get. There's not too much room for originality because of Star Wars and Star Trek and all these other and movies, but you get a different perspective for Hal Jordan, and you get the Kilowoggs who are mad because the other aliens, because Kilowog has Hal Jordan on his planet, which is it's against laws. You can't put any outsiders there, and you can't leave the planet. Then we got the Manhunters. So it ends up being a lot of fighting, but it ends up being an ambush more than it is a fight. It's not a war because it's just a massacre. So the Manhunters have overwhelmed the two Green Lanterns, and Hal and Kilowog have to, kind of fuck off for a bit and go somewhere else and try to regroup and strategize how to get back at these. And this is here. You can see the regrets that Hal Jordan has made. It's trying to do the right things, but he ends up just, he ends up making destructive weapons. He thought he's doing the right thing, but he's not. All this stuff here. All this. They meet another alien who, they go to another planet, and they find here we go. They meet, I keep forgetting her name. Hold on. I think it's something with Arisia, yeah. Everybody remembers Arisia. So she shows up here, and there's a lot going on. Arisia, and then this alien who reinterprets what the Green Lantern, what the Guardians were. The Guardians were power hungry. They wanted power to control the universe, to bring it to their order. So they created the Green Lanterns. And when that didn't work, they created the Manhunters. And then at some point they create the yellow Corps. Or the Yellow Lantern Corps, I guess you could call it, since we go into the weakness of the Green Lanterns. And at some point, Sinestro shows up as sort of an extra character, but he's not developed one way or the other, which I think was better than what they did with Ryan Reynolds in the original movie in 2011. So Hal Jordan eventually gets captured and taken as a slave onto a planet. The typical situation is he's overwhelmed and he's taken hostage, and so he's working in slave labor camps on a distant planet. What else we got here? I think Kilowog got separated for a while. Not sure exactly what happened to him. But Hal Jordan finds a way to get off this planet. The thing is that we go into the logic of he can understand other languages of other aliens because he has the ring on, and when the ring starts to fuck up on him, then he can't understand anyone. And here we have the classic kind of here's a sexy female weird alien, and she wants more power, but obviously she can't handle it. She wants to take the ring and just, do whatever she wants. And Hal Jordan wants to free the slaves, and he wants to do more. He doesn't just want to have power. He wants to do something good with the power. He wants to redeem himself for all the stuff he did in the past. So obviously this alien doesn't make it. He gets his ring back. This is what the last of the Oa Guardians look like. Oa. So, and at the end of this, Arisia is the leader of the Green Lantern Corps, and Green Lantern gives a second ring to an alien species, and Hal Jordan comes back to Earth. And the one significant difference for the one page, this is an art gallery, hold on a minute, is that Kilowog is supposed to be dead and not the alien that brought up the Green Lantern Corps story. So Kilowog dies in the rough draft. So that's my review. I'm going to give this an 8.5 out of 10.